The third kingdom here looked to be fairly straightforward, but there were actually a few points in it that I overlooked during the course of this game. So a couple things came to my mind. Maybe you could do something with heralds. There's also hunting party for draw, caravans, wishing well. Lots of draw on the board. You have trashing in your spice merchant and upgrade. So very nice things. Mostly it seems like either a herald deck or a hunting party deck. The hunting party deck seems to be quicker than the heralds. You can also include treasures more easily into a hunting party deck than a herald deck. Also, you don't want your herald to turn up your horse traders at a suboptimal or inopportune time anyway. So I think the hunting party is what I'm going for. But to kick things off, I believe Spice Merchant and Silver is the way I'm going. The Silver is to get to 5, hopefully, to get to upgrade or hunting party. Alternatively, you could look at Spice Merchant Wishing Well. Maybe that's an opening worth considering. Here, I do not take the chance with the Spice Merchant. Going to take my guaranteed 5 and pick up the upgrade. My opponent was able to get the upgrade with drawing with the Spice Merchant, so that's a little bit better for him there. And on 4 for me here, it's between Caravan and Wishing Well, I believe. A second Spice Merchant is actually not that crazy, given that I have the upgrade. And maybe it's something that I should have considered. I think about horse traders here because 5 is an important price point to hit. I would like to get my hunting party as soon as possible. I'm thinking about just having the one upgrade in the deck and playing that many times, or at least once a shuffle with the hunting parties. So my opponent goes for Wishing Well. I go for the Caravan here. I mean, the Wishing Well could draw, but it doesn't have to draw. It didn't draw for my opponent, and the Caravan is guaranteed a draw, so I said, okay, I'll take the guaranteed thing and move on with it. Upgrade for me here is going to obviously be an estate, turning into a silver. Now, what you should notice here, it could be a silver, but I'm going to take a couple wells here to try to supplement the draw. What you should notice is that there's Aqueduct, and usually, okay, so this is a mistake. I don't know if it's a mistake, but it's something I do. I kind of just overlook all these landmarks that accumulate or have VP on them throughout the course of the game. So, Labyrinth and Basilica and Aqueduct is one of them. Tell myself, look, just don't worry too much about those points. It's not that big of a deal. But that is not the case in this game. This Aqueduct is going to play very, very crucial role, and I want you to pay attention to it for the rest of the game here. So it stands at 3 points right now. The reason why it's important, I'll explain later why it turned out to be very, very important. So my opponent is a little bit ahead. His Spice Merchants has shown up real early up in his shuffles for him, so that's pretty nice for him. Wishing Well here, so I can draw further into my deck with this upgrade. So if there's something good on top of the deck, I will draw it. So I don't have to guess something good. I should guess something bad instead. So I did guess something bad. The estate was the worst card. So I guessed the estate there. Didn't get it. The copper was on top, but that's okay because I can still get to hunting party with the 5 copper. Anyways, Aqueduct is now at 5. And at this point I noticed it and I thought that's quite a bit of points on this board actually. I would like to take it except my opponent takes it. So he has cottoned on to the fact that Aqueduct is a big deal on this board because on this board it serves as an extra 2 provinces effectively. And that is not insignificant here because what we are both building up to is a hunting party stack with treasure that can probably buy something like province and duchy or maybe double province at best, and we're both going to do that. So we are restricted by buy in this deck. There's Squire, Spice Merchant, Horse Traders. That's the only source of plus buy. Not so easy to play either of them. The Squire might be the easiest one to play, right? The Spice Merchant, do you really want to use that to trash and cycle rather than trash and buy? I pick up a Horse Traders here, maybe with intentions of playing it later. I don't have the kind of draw to play the horse traders. Also, without squire, horse traders is terminal. So once you play that horse traders, whatever you discard, you're not getting back. And in this case, I don't have any green cards to discard. I have to discard treasure, so it kind of cuts into my economy a little bit. And squire is your third source of plus buy here. So we are fairly neck and neck on the deck development here. The difference so far is that my opponent has managed to take some points off the aqueduct. Now, I start to build back up the aqueduct here to try to take some points off of it to catch up on my opponent with the aqueduct. So there's 2 on it now. I am trying to get there, meaning get the aqueduct up to a point where I would like to take it. I'll take maybe 4 points is what I was looking at for the aqueduct, but I mismanaged my aqueduct again in here. I mismanaged it and I actually allowed my opponent to take 4 points off of the aqueduct. So I don't take any aqueduct points on this turn. I upgrade the horse traders here, I believe, into a hunting party. Or maybe a second upgrade. I'm not sure, but either way I don't play the horse traders here for sure. I don't play it for the entire game. Thinking about upgrading the spice merchant at this point. The deck is fairly thin. The upgrade can slowly make it better. And then I can use horse traders for my plus buy. There's quite a few decisions here. Eventually I do decide to turn the horse traders into another upgrade for another source of gain. So I can draw that immediately and I can play it. Or I can play the spice merchant and take hunting party and gold. Wanted the gold to stack back the aqueduct here. So, as I was mentioning, the reason why it's important is because we kind of strained for buy, right? So if we can get extra points from somewhere, that is very, very crucial. It's not so easy on this board to outgain your opponent. It's not so easy to outgain your opponent. I can't find some wild upgrade strategy and upgrade a bunch of forecasts into duchies at some point. Our decks are fairly the same. And whatever little advantage you can get from the aqueduct is going to go a long way in this game, and you really had to pay attention in this game to how big the aqueduct pile was, how thin your deck is, how willing you are to take a green card just to get the aqueduct points. Because he's been taking the aqueduct points while he's building his deck. So he bought the duchy the first time, and he upgraded that duchy into a gold, which further stacked back the aqueduct. Again here he buys another duchy. He gets a gold first and then the duchy to get maximum points off of the aqueduct. And he's taken 9 points off of the aqueduct, which is already more than half, right? Already more than half. To get back into the game, I would have to take all the remaining points off of the aqueduct. And that's real hard to do. It's easy to get these silvers out, especially with upgrade around. But it's a lot more difficult to get the gold out of the supply to put points on the aqueduct. So notice none of us have bought provinces yet. It's really been an aqueduct battle at this point in the game, and my opponent has come out on top. I thoroughly mismanaged the aqueduct here. There's 2 points on the aqueduct right now, and my opponent actually takes again the aqueduct for the 3rd time, if not on this turn, the next turn by buying province, I believe. So he really knocked me out here with the aqueduct, and I couldn't do anything after that in terms of trying to close the gap between the points. So I think when you're looking at these landmarks, you have to look at the impact of these 12 points or however many there are on the game. Like, what percentage of the VP is 12 victory points here? Is a significant chunk. And not only that, how easy it is to get, what is the impact of buying a green card, putting it into your deck. But you really have to assess and analyze how much of an impact can these landmark points make in this deck. Last game he beat me with Fountain and he played well and really made use of that. This game it looks like he's gonna beat me by making much better use of the Aqueduct. So here I finally take points of the Aqueduct, but it's a measly 2 compared to my opponent's 12 or however many. And the decks, it's going to peter out here with both of us buying a province each, and that'll be the end of the game. My opponent will have the massive 10-point advantage of the Aqueduct and win. And I don't really have a way out. A bit surprising, honestly, for me to see 4 hunting parties in the stack, and we're both going after provinces, but I think the game progressed just quick enough to allow that to happen. If we stall, we probably can still buy a province. Stalling here would probably mean we have a handful of treasures, which still lets us buy province. So there's really no hope for me for the remainder of this game once my opponent took the Aqueduct point lead, which is incredible. I have never played a game where Aqueduct or a landmark like Aqueduct played such an influential role in determining who would win. Winning the Aqueduct split here effectively meant that my opponent won the game, which is crazy. He hadn't bought a single province. He just took the majority of the points off of the Aqueduct, and he just set himself up for the rest of the game to win. It was very, very smooth and controlled at the end for my opponent. Not too many difficult decisions to make. I buy a province, he buys a province to counter, and I have the big Aqueduct gap to deal with, and there's no way for me to deal with it because of the trouble I have with gaining things on this board. Both of us actually were fairly restricted by the gain here. So I am not sure how I could have approached this differently. Definitely I could have managed the Aqueduct better. I didn't pay any attention to it as I usually do with these landmarks, but here it actually turned out to bite me. Which is crazy. So I am gonna just take the penultimate province here. I kinda resigned myself mentally at this point, and my opponent is gonna take the last province to close out the game here. So that is how game 3, sorry, ends. Very, very nuanced with the Aqueduct here, I find. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching, and I will see you